Bad Bunny will save us all. He might not actually, but that is what I thought when I was watching the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm not fucking kidding you. And I think it's because I felt hopeful. And that's pretty rare in times like these. It was just a fucking genius, beautiful display of someone who is with his people. He is not separating himself and being like, I made it and I'm gonna get away from you all. No. He's like, I made it and I'm here to stand by Puerto Rican people, Latin American people, all like colonized people. And I really felt that in the performance and I admire it. And I think consistently Bad Bunny has stuck by his values and he continues to.
Hey,
welcome our celebrity guest to the stage, Shannon Canton. Round of applause, please, everyone.
Thank you.
You're a comedian, a very talented stand-up comedian. You, live between Boston and Hawaii.
I guess I was born and raised in Hawaii. I am the youngest of 6 kids. 3 of us are blind. We grew up in a mixed household. My dad is full Filipino, my mom Portuguese Hawaiian, which, in Hawaii is a very common mix. So we had all the parties, the food. Every meal was rice-based, lived near the beach.
Just so you know, the purpose of the video, I'm thinking, for me, at first it was my just kind of immediate reaction and how I immediately felt as someone who's not Puerto Rican, from an outsider perspective, which I think is a perspective that's, not the most important and also relevant in the context of US politics especially. And then you texted me and I thought, well, this is a way better perspective than all of my perspectives, so. When you texted me, you laid out the scene that both in Spanish and English people were kind of narrating what was on screen.
Yeah, they were talking about, it was a big party, there was a wedding, there were 2, a couple of adults playing dominoes, there was shaved ice, there was a food truck, there was everyone dancing, coming out of a small house. The one that touched me the most, my friend Andre, Andre pointed out, was there was a child during the wedding laying down on 3 chairs, just a makeshift bed in the middle of all the hustle and bustle. And that reminded me very much of Hawaii when we go to parties and the kids want to hang. We all want to hang. I called my brother right after and told him about the kid sleeping. He's like, whoa, that's like Hawaii. It's coming from a brown party where we're going to the grown-up parties and they find a way to make us feel safe, right? That makeshift bed, even though it's loud and crazy, we all felt very comfortable sleeping. So for that to be so relatable, really, really hit something in my heart. He was safe. He was happy. And anybody who can, have a whole band playing and still sleep, that shows they were comfortable. And he made me comfortable with his performance. And it helped, again, that I had friends who knew the language, knew the culture, and gave me all the important tidbits that I wouldn't have.
That made a lot of sense to me. I feel like you explaining that got at the entire performance felt so much like it was, like you're saying, about unity.
Yeah.
We know that.
It felt like we were invited to the party.
Yes! Yeah. Yes, and like you're saying, we could allow ourselves to be there, and we're invited.
Yeah.
Or we could choose to be like, no, I will not be a part of this. But he was inviting us.
He's giving you the option to enjoy it. And if you want to love it, you will. And if you choose not to, you won't. And I think that's what inclusion is all about.
So he's showing that he's just one of many people, right? And like the genius of this was to be him like in the fields, him with the electricians who were also, I guess, sexy pole dancing on the electric poles. And I don't mean to over sexualize them, that was just a joke. But it was like, whoa, this is fun. And like beautiful. There was clear passion and care for his culture. And obviously, like, I don't come from a deeply rooted culture like that. I think right away, the juxtaposition between a football game, a theory that I've heard is that football is kind of like a placeholder for like real culture in America, right? And I'm not anti-football at all. In some ways it represents like interesting aspects of US culture to me. Not that that's the only thing that it is, right? Settler colonialism is about like erasure. It eats itself essentially, right? That's why when like white people, I am speaking for the whites as an expert on the whites. When we see a place where we're like, whoa, that culture is awesome. I want that because I don't have that. Let me move there. We ruin it. Because the culture that we're familiar with is essentially one of like obliteration and erasure and destruction. And it's more complicated than that, blah, blah, blah. My point is the juxtaposition between a football game, seeing that juxtaposed with like Bad Bunny's entire performance was really interesting to me. Not that those things are separate, right, or against one another, but more so that in some ways football does represent a stand-in for more long-standing culture that other countries that have not experienced settler colonialism in the same way might have. Okay, now I'm gonna watch the video just again. Okay, the shot where he like looks through the little plants is really cool. Go back and watch it. That's him. That's Benito. So I also think he's nervous at first, which I'm not going to criticize him, but don't you think, I don't know, I'm like worried for him. I think he was nervous at first, but then he got into it, it was fine. Do you guys think he's nervous? Oh God, I would be so nervous if I was him. Okay. So, and then immediately he walks from the fields to just like, what I assume are like staples of Puerto Rican culture. So I feel like from this video, part of the curiosity that it sparked in me is because I was like, oh, piraguas? What is that? I just think this is a genius performance. Okay, the first shot of Pedro, is that Pedro Pascal? Someone needs to let me know, because he looks really confused. Like someone like threw him down there and he's lost. That's what he looks like in the very first shot. I'm almost positive that's Pedro Pascal. And they like cut away from him really fast. Do you guys know what shot I'm talking about? He's like, how did they do that? When he falls through the ceiling and then it's just a concerned family. They're like, what the fuck? Honestly, if this family didn't realize that their home was built inside of this stadium, kind of on them. Not to victim blame, but like, why are you guys surprised? How did they pull this off, right? The message is amazing, and then it's like, and just in terms of show quality and pulling off so many moving parts, oh my God. Then I love that you have the camera shot basically from Bad Bunny's perspective, where you're also with everyone, right? Like in this big party. So I think it really made me as a viewer feel like I'm part of this. I'm not just a spectator watching from outside. Like I'm also one of the people. Did you notice? They're gays. There's at least two men, both like slow grinding on each other, Channing Tatum style. I understand Channing Tatum didn't come up with that. It's also beautiful that he can address California in Spanish, right? That's like the second language of the state and the city of Los Angeles. And what's happening here is that's also just being acknowledged. Like, the truth of the world we live in, like the multiracial, multicultural world we live in, is also, I think, in part being acknowledged by the fact that Bad Bunny is speaking Spanish, addressing California, addressing LA in Spanish. And everyone at least gets the gist. It's Lady Gaga, right? God, I felt so nervous that she would be really bad at dancing. It's like, girl, please, like, represent us all right. Is she Latina? No. Could be. Oh, they're friends. Lady Gaga and Bad Bunny have a strong friendship and mutual admiration for each other's work. Aww. Okay, because I was kind of like, why'd they choose her as, like, the token white? But it's because they're good friends. Oh, God, that's sweet. Don't you wonder how many dance classes she had to take to prepare for this? Also, what did you guys think? How'd she do? How'd she do it representing the white women? I think she was okay. It could have been way worse, right? It goes from, I assume, like, probably real fields in Puerto Rico to Bad Bunny performing still among, like, working people. Like, in Hawaii, there's also, like, a huge history of plantation work, and in a bunch of, like, Central and Latin American countries, that is often, and often those who profit most off of it are from powerful countries. In Hawaii, it's the US, and I assume Puerto Rico is similar. And even in his song, right, his display and performance around this song, he's surrounded by labor that's rooted in this colonial dynamic. So when Ricky Martin sang part of Lo Que Le Pasó a Hawaii, it was especially impactful. Please feel free to check out collabs I've done with some Hawaii locals. The US was choosing between Hawaii and Puerto Rico as a 50th state. And the reason that they chose Hawaii over Puerto Rico is because they thought that they could convince the most white people to move there, or at least more white people to move there than Puerto Rico, which is why we see, like, hypersexualization of Hawaiian women, right? It was to attract, like, white men. Like, that was a marketing scheme. Like, there's all sorts of marketing that was intentionally designed to try to draw whites to the Hawaiian Islands because they were so afraid of having a non-majority white voting bloc in a state. Joke's on them, because Hawaii is a majority non-white state. But there are a lot of parallels between Hawaii, which I'm, like, more familiar with, and Puerto Rico. Lo Que Le Pasó a Hawaii. So I know that that's a Bad Bunny song. It was also featured partly in the Super Bowl show. Mm-hmm. I know that you all talked about it, you told me.
We did talk about it. Sabiana's from Ecuador. She introduced me to Bad Bunny before all of this came out. She mentioned it several weeks ago about this song, and what I think the English translation of the song is "Where'd Hawaii go?"
My understanding is it's like what happened to Hawaii.
Oh, what happened? Yeah, what happened to Hawaii? That's right. It's very interesting. One of the lines, I don't know the exact Spanish line, but it says, "Nobody wanted to leave, but everybody dreams of coming back." And in Hawaii, there's a term that has been very popularized. It's called being priced out of paradise. People don't want to leave, but the cost of living has gone up so much. And so Hawaii has really been, people have been pushed out. Cost of living. There was an article that came out about it like maybe a week or two ago saying that while cost of living is the biggest problem, there are other things going on that push out Hawaiians, locals, to the place. And this song was very interesting to me because he's like, let's not let the same thing happen in the way it has to Hawaii. And I will say there are pockets of Hawaii that still have what we consider Hawaii, and there's a bumper stickers that say it, a lot of signs, keep Hawaii, Hawaii. My hometown, Ka'u, one of the coolest things that happens probably every several years, big developers come in, they have a plan, they say, we're going to get you jobs, we're going to give more opportunities, restaurants, and people, while they are struggling, probably when it comes to poverty level, one of the highest in the state, people are very happy with where they are. You know, a lot of the old school Hawaii ideology is, you know, hey, you need a cup of sugar, you can go auntie, we'll get you that, but you also, you know, reciprocity, you give back what you get. It's easier to make sure that everybody around you is your family. And that's still, I'm very proud. That's my hometown. That's what mostly has become, right? Is a lot of development, a lot of people being pushed out, locals even, people who've lived there for generations. And the song talks about that in a beautiful, elegant way that's also very sad. Because at first, when I first heard that song, I got a little, you know, I'm like, well, my hometown's different. But in a macro level, Hawaii really has become a place of, are Hawaiians even allowed? Not always. Not always. Sorry.
It's okay.
I think it is a beautiful song that I've learned to accept is far truer, especially those lyrics, right? People, they didn't want to go, but they dream of coming back, and that's a nice, true way. Ian Tongi, he was an American Idol winner from Hawaii, from Kahuku. One of the things he talked about was one of the best things of him winning would be able to afford a place back in Hawaii and go back home. And a lot of us feel that. I love Hawaii. I love being able to travel through Boston because of the public transportation, but I go back home 3 months out the year, be there with my family. This was one of the hardest goodbyes in a while. Like, again, I go back every year, and this one was so sad, getting the hugs to my family. And, you know, even my dad, who's not a man who will cry, like I could feel him like tapping my shoulder more as I was heading to the airport. And if I could find a way to live there with efficiency and opportunity and feeling welcomed in the way that I feel Hawaii was built for Hawaiians a while ago, I think it'd be very different.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of when he addresses us directly? About 5 minutes in, when he looks directly at the camera at us, and he tells us to believe in ourselves. This is one thing I'm curious about. What did you guys think of the theme of marriage throughout this? Like, part of it is like, it could like go alongside his songs more, kind of, but like, hey, yeah, these are people in love, and that's always beautiful. I'm curious about what you guys thought of that as like a reoccurring theme throughout the performance. It's probably about something I'm ignorant to, so I'm very open to people telling me what's up. I didn't see this the first time. He gives the kid his Grammy. Oh. Sorry, his Grammy win made me cry really hard too. I didn't. Oh, the kid, it's so sweet. Okay. Sorry, this is hard times we're living in, you know. I think it might be my bedtime. Little kid, he's like, what did we do? I just watched the end, like the rest of that, when he gives the little kid the Grammy. The kid's like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what the fuck? I don't think that 7-year-old cares that much about the Grammys. How dare he? Just kidding. That is really interesting that there's the Electricians And then the fireworks go off. It makes me think about, okay, who are the working people behind these kind of performances, like these grandiose displays? They're like on the pole. They really love it on the pole. He's elevated on a separate platform, but it's still another electric pole, right? So he's still woven into the fabric of like these, the people. Another thing that you made me think about is, at what expense are these lavish kind of displays, right? Or at whose expense?
Yeah.
Not that that's always necessary, but
You're not wrong, I mean, in like when the hotels were coming up in Hawaii, sure, a lot of the locals were working, but who's doing the hula dancing and giving the lays when people land, right? Like, they're doing this work to make white people comfortable and happy. They get to see the white version of Hawaii. The fireworks being built. Are the locals enjoying? Probably some, but for them, this is here to make you feel comfortable, and not you literally, but to outside people feeling comfortable. If I was a tourist in that space, I'd be included in that as well. Again, all you see is the fun stuff, but you don't see the background. That's a very deep, true thing, and I didn't even think about that.
Well, really? Oh, you made me think about it, though. What are Americans going to do to Puerto Rico? My fear is that, to no fault of Bad Bunny, this show, and maybe even this is why, okay, I can see putting Puerto Rico on display as also causing more white Americans to want to move there. And, like, that's what happened to Hawaii. And I do worry that the popularization and, putting, like, Puerto Rican culture on display like that, I'm afraid it's going to almost backfire. And that's not even the right word, because it's like, this is what U.S. culture does. It, like, takes so many, like, beautiful things and ruins them. But that's a fear I had. There's a lot more hope that I also had. I think that Bad Bunny did an amazing job at the halftime show, and a part of me wondered if the reason why they let him perform was in part to popularize Puerto Rico and make it more palatable to outsiders, to more Americans, mostly white Americans.
Like there was a second agenda going on.
Yeah, or whether it was intentional or not. I think it's a tricky thing. Like, I feel like the risk of even promoting, like, showing how beautiful Puerto Rican, like, culture is, which I think is part of what that show did, the performance did. And he, I think, displayed, like, what I felt like is there was a message of unity. Mm-hmm. And from my perspective, I'm also, like, always worried, because there's always a risk of, and as a white, I'm speaking as an expert, of whites being like, oh, that seems great, let me go there. Mm-hmm. And white settler culture is one of constant, like,
what you've got looks nice, I want some of that.
Yes, and then we ruin it. Like, it's endless.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you think about, so I felt like, as a ton of, like, I felt really grateful that I got to, like, just see that performance. And then I was also like, oh, fuck. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. I think one of the like, if I felt like the world was watching it, there would be more fear. I feel like the people who chose to watch were the people who are choosing to learn, right? There was a secondary halftime show that if people didn't want to hear it, they didn't have to hear it. So I would think at least most of the people who were there looked at the other things that are going on, right? The cultural stuff, the things that were fun. Even when he climbed up the light pole with the significance of that, talking about how the issues still persist when it comes to electricity and the issues that there. So I do think there's always that challenge, especially with Puerto Rico being so close to the U.S., that I think the people who have had the privilege to escape already have. Look at Jake Paul, for example, who has a place there and called this halftime show an insult to America. So you live there, yet you're putting it down. I think the people who watched it, I would like to think, myself included, I was getting the breakdown, the people who are coming out, the significance, him climbing up the pole, and everything in between, that you realize it's beautiful, but there's still things that are needed, but they should be in charge of it, right? The people there should have their voices. Yeah, there are definitely people who will take advantage, because as beautiful as the world is, there's a lot of ugly as well. But I'd like to think that, I message you and I'm like, it hit me like this, and you're like, wow. And I was around a bunch of people who it touched in different ways. And anyone who sat there and had the privilege to accept the gift he gave us found something significant. And coming from a perspective of where, sure, we have been hurt by white people, there have been our allies. And I think that is more and more evident. The people will draw their, where they are in the sand, whether they're for or against, and it's very few people are hiding it anymore.
Yeah. Little do the viewers know that I've been texting you being like, say white people can be good too. Say white people can be good too.
You're like, come on. So, emoji, thumbs up, white skin, hand, flare, firework.
White prayer hands.
White prayer hands.
Ultimately, although I do feel worried, I also felt curiosity, which I think it can be pretty positive. I was like, oh, I need to learn more about Puerto Rico. Why? I know reggaeton artists. I gotta listen to them more and learn about them. I'm not gonna move there. I'm not gonna go and move to Puerto Rico. Don't fucking worry. But it made me want to engage in that culture more. Talk to Puerto Rican people in my life. Learn more about the history. I imagine other people have to have similar responses, right? And that to me feels hopeful and important. Shannon, what do you want to promote? How can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Shannon, SHANNON _Canton, CANTAN. Say Canton so you can spell it out, tan. It's pronounced Canton. But and then I have a podcast called it's Ketchup Mustard's Pod. Got my friends Ebony and Amber Moore, hilarious twins.
It's so funny. It's sweet. It's fucking premise is great. Everyone's so talented. It's a great podcast. Well, I need to go and take off my pants and then obsessively edit this video. I love you. I'll call you soon.
I love you too. Take care.
See you.
Bye.